Isn't it great that it's such a 90s thing to have this screensaver, yet I remember the screensaver like really, really well. I remember having it in like elementary school in like computer class. Hmm. Is that dial-up? Alright, delicious people, welcome to another build video. I am currently unmedicated and a little twitchy. Don't worry, I'm fine. I should be okay around Tuesday when I go and get my shot, which is going to be very nice. However, some things that are a little bit less personal and less scary is the fact that we're going to be doing a powerful Incarnon. Keep in mind that we voted on a fun one a couple weeks ago, but I want to do the powerful one now because I did a co-main video last week. And I do want to make sure that I show you this Incarnon, as it is the second Incarnon that I grabbed. And I very, very much like this one as well. It is the Cestra Incarnon. The Cestra is really easy to get a hold of. It's a bull up thing that turns into like a really fast fire. Although we're going to be going with like less fast fire since I want punch through instead. And the fact that it is a projectile with a little bit of girth to it means we will be having a higher chance of hitting more targets than one, which is going to be very nice. And its Incarnon version, which we're going to be focusing on, is turning it into a fully auto without the bull up. And it's going to be crit chance increases with uninterrupted shots fired. You can let go for about a second, or maybe two, if I were to be thinking of it correctly. But you do want to make sure that you have a target that will essentially be able to handle pulling the trigger for a really long time, either a group of enemies or like an acolyte or something. Because in most cases, realistically speaking, you're not going to just hold down the trigger. I'll show you the other Incarnons during the other evolutions during the demonstration, the build portion. But I am already done making the build. I have done my math, I've done my practical tests, and I have essentially figured out this weapon in its fullest capability with everything that needs to perform. And so we're just going to skip ahead to the music video portion of this to demonstrate how it works and demonstrate how to essentially use it and demonstrate how powerful it can be, which is the whole point of my music video stuff. But I just figured I would say that mostly for myself, so I understand why I do the music videos. It's just for the longest time I was just kind of like confused as to why I was doing it, even though I literally invented the whole music video in a build video thing for myself. But anyway, enjoy the music video, and I'll see you in the build portion.
discovery. Keep up the good work.
Alright, time for the build portion of the video, which is going to be very nice, as long as I can not ruin it this time, because I have been doing it like 7 times already. Jesus Christ. So, we're going to be going with Incarnons and then the build. First Incarnon is going to be the Incarnon form, which is going to be critical chance increased with interrupted shots fired, which should be very nice, or uninterrupted, my bad. We'll be going with Evolution 2, which is going to be Fortress Salvo, which is going to be increase the base damage by 10, with armor over 450, we're going to be getting a plus 80% multi-shot. It's going to be better than this one practically, but not numerically, because Steadfast Grit will give you more damage, but it's not going to be very, like, reliable. You have to get hit and break your shields, which means you're going to have the length of a shield gate in order to actually utilize it. So it's practically not a good idea, right? So we're going to be going with Fortress Salvo. We're also going to be going with Rapid Reinforcement, which is give us reload speed. The reload speed also increases the time it takes, decreases the time it takes to go into Incarnon form, which is going to be very nice. You could also go with Swift Deliverance, which is going to give you projectile speed, but we're going to be going with a Flare build rather than a Merciless build. We're also going to ignore Slayer's Nerve, because Slayer's Nerve is a very accurate weapon, so we do not need this. Either projectile speed or reload speed, one of the two, depending on Flare or Merciless. We're going to be going with Wise Man's Regard, which is going to give us status chance by 30% of our current critical chance, which is going to be up to 40%, which is very, very nice. And the fact that technically, mathematically speaking, Death Trap Trigger would be better, but because I'm determined to go with this Flare build and have this weapon stand on its own rather than having a primer, I'm going to be going with this. But to be completely honest, Survivor's Edge is probably the bottom of the three. My ranking for which one is probably better, as a bit of a personal opinion, Death Trap Trigger is best, Wise Man's Regard is second, and Survivor's Edge is last. However, practically speaking, they kind of sort of give the same performance, so it isn't entirely necessary to do all of that. You just go whichever one you want to, and keep in mind what kind of build you're going to be making, so you don't mess it up. Speaking of messing things up, this is the 7th time I'm going to my build portion, so bear with me. Galvanized Diffusion for multi-shot. We'll be doing Galvanized Shot for more damage, as well as more status. I do believe it's multiplicative, although I'm not entirely sure, because I haven't necessarily done an exact test on it. But I'll probably do that later, and probably during a stream, which you can join me during the streams, which would be very nice on Twitch or YouTube. But shameless plug aside, we're going to be going with Punch Through, which is going to be nice. Because this is going to be a large projectile, we are going to be hitting more targets than usual. We're going to be using Creeping Bullseye for more crit chance, but less fire rate, which is going to be fine, since fire rate is taken in consideration when you're fighting Acolytes, so this is going to be a very good Acolyte killer. We're doing Scorch, Frostbite, and Pistol Pestilence for Viral and Heat. I love Viral and Heat because the armor strips and increases the damage, allowing most weapons to be able to handle themselves. Not the Stug though, which is unfortunate, but it's the Stug, what can you do? We'll be doing Prime Target Cracker, which is going to be very, very nice, giving us a 3.4 crit multiplier and up to a 6.3, which will be bigger if you have the other Incarnates. We're also going to be using Cascadia Flare for base damage, which is to be absolutely wonderful. I love Flare, and honestly, I don't see enough of it. So yeah, it's good to show it here. But that has been the build, and my final thoughts on this weapon is really good, really slept on because I guess like the big YouTubers saw the brokenness that was the other weapon, but it got fixed right away as I thought it would. And I figured that I would get the less popular Incarnons just because I felt like if somebody's gonna do it, it might as well be me. So, yeah. So, yeah. Have wonderful, wonderful nightmares. I will see you in them. And remember, if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. Honey, honey. Good night.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.